Okay, so my next haul order is actually from an Australian mixed media store that's based in Melbourne, and I am very excited about doing this haul video because over the weekend, just gone, Dina Wakley was actually teaching classes at artified.com, and I was very lucky. I got to do 3 out of 6 of her classes that she had on. So I did the painterly figures, expressive drawing techniques for drawing intuitively and freely, and the third one was finding joy in abstraction. And can I have only awesome things to say about all 3 of those classes? I loved them. Dina herself, she was absolutely amazing. She was very down to earth. She remembered everyone's names, and she was like, her instruction and teaching capability of teaching you something completely out of your realm. Like, I'm a crafter and card maker, and I do mostly watercoloring and have very little experience with acrylics. As much as I admire them, I just haven't done much mixed media. Even though I've bought all the supplies, I just haven't done as much. So anyway, especially not, her beautiful style of, painterly figures and all sorts of things. And she had us, holding brushes in the right way and being loose and painting with our left hand and actually getting something, not bad. Like, it was quite good to do and to have that sort of instruction. It was, all the classes were sort of like giving you the foundation to go home and practice everything. Like, basically, this is where you start from, and then practice, 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 which is really good because so many times, like, you just don't know where to start, whereas this is like the perfect where to start. So I had my notepad, I wrote lots of notes. Yes, I'll do a quick little share of the sort of things that we did in class, just the final one, just so you sort of get an idea in case you're interested in doing any of them. So this was like the painterly faces one, and you basically painted a face with a paintbrush and add shadows and highlights and color and all sorts of things, and totally, I'm usually, drawing things into, I like things being perfect. So it was very good to do something that, you weren't really fussing over every little detail. So this class is all about painting with a big brush and doing a face, and starting with something that looked like an absolute mess, and by the end of it actually resembles a face. So I was very, very impressed with, her teaching capabilities. And then this one was the expressive drawing. So we did like, a face, and also like a flower, and how to, look at objects and, break them down. So it was really cool. And then, there's even like, and then there was just a super loose, take away half the lines and see what you get. And, this is nothing I've ever done before. So I was really happy with my first attempts, and I definitely have lots of guidance and room to build and practice and everything else. So that was amazing. And in the third class, we did abstraction. And can I just say, I love looking at abstract art, and no way known have I ever attempted anything like that, because it's beyond me. Like, I have no idea where to start. Nothing. So Dina was great. She sort of just gave you a few basic structures, and then, things to make sure you're including in your drawing, and to make a good abstract thing, and lots of guidance and support, and hints and tips and tricks and all that sort of stuff along the way. So we actually did one to practice with, and I'm really, really happy with the way this one turned out for me. It was lots of fun. It was so much fun creating this and having a go. So very happy with that. And then we also did a canvas, which is very daunting to get a canvas and then play with it. Yeah, so this is sort of, I'll just show it like that. This is what I came up with. I'm very happy. You know, these are the first two abstracty thingies I've really ever done. And I would put these on my wall. So I'm very proud of them. And I have Dina to thank for that because she's an amazing teacher. So while I was at artified.com, like they've obviously got a website for mixed media, but they are located in Melbourne on the east side in Rowville. So for me it was an hour and 20 minutes to get there. It was really, really simple off the freeway. So I can definitely feel confident now finding it in the future if I want to go in person and not just do like an online purchase. So yes, while I was there, the second book that Dina has done was in stock, so I've actually been eyeing this off since it was first released. But anyway, it is in stock, and you know, Dina signed it for me and everything else, and it was really good because lots of what she was saying in class, this sort of book sort of reinforced everything, and now you have sort of like a picture guide to go with your own memories of the class. So I was super excited. Lots of the other ladies that were at the class said they refer to this all the time and it's one of their favorite art books, and I love flicking through it. So very happy about that. Other things I picked up were of course Dina Wakley products because I wanted I wanted the full range. I wanted the full range for ages. But let me just get these in order. Lots of them were out of stock. Like I did an online order early October to get as many colors as I could of Dina's products so that'd be ready for class. So these are the ones that were in stock at the time. So I got a white gesso, the white paint, and the black paint, blackberry violet, blushing, and lapis. Now I need more white. I used so much white in class, but it was so much fun. But anyway, and then I did get a few from, because they were out of stock at Artified, in a different haul that I'll share later. I had a few other colors that I got from Simon Says Stamp, purely because Artified was out of stock of them and I really wanted. And then while participating in class, there was 3 colors that I didn't have yet. And lo and behold, those are the colors that I'm like, oh my god, I need those. So anyway, while I was in the class, they had the shop open, so I picked them up while I was there. Luckily, they were in stock. So the first one was Umber. Who knew you needed a brown? Because we used it so often in class. And then I'm like, oh my god, I really need this color, because you need it for, like, you know, underpaintings and all sorts of stuff. And then Penny, which is like your bronze color, it looks amazing as a highlight, or as an accent, or mixed with other colors. And then I had to get the Sterling as well because it's a metallic that's neutral, because we're learning about, like, you know, color combos and things like that as well. Whereas the Penny and the Gilt, which is the gold, sort of come across as a yellow or an orangey type of on the color wheel. So had to get the Sterling. So I had a neutral that was metallic. To go with my metallic paints, I grabbed 3 of the nibs that you attach to the tops of the paint stuff. The paint tubes, not stuff. Yeah, to go with that. And then in the online haul, I picked up a couple stencils as well that I really wanted. I've been eyeing off for ages. So the Flying Bird masks, also the halves. So I didn't actually need to use either of these in class just because Dina had supplied all the stencils on the desks and stuff, so I didn't need to actually pull them out. And the other one I got that's kind of like a stencil but also really cool is this comb. So it's the Circles comb, and what's great about it is it's thicker than a stencil, so it's quite sturdy, and it's meant for scraping texture into, you know, heavy body acrylic paint, and it's got the beautiful circles for stencil, you know, that sort of thing as well. So it's got on the edges 3 different shapes, so really thin. And then this one here, which is sort of in between. There's also a squares comb that I got to play with in class. And the edges on that one are different to the edges on the circle one. So even if you had both, you'd have different textures to play with. And the flat side was like for applying gesso or big washes of paint really quickly. So that was really cool. And then I got one stamp set as well. So this one is called Scribbly Text Elements. I love Dina's handwriting. Even if you can't see what it says, I just love the big loose scrolly loops to the ends of her words and all sorts of things. So I definitely need to practice the writing in journal. Usually I just skip that part because yeah, I don't really like my own handwriting, which, you know, apparently a lot of people say. But anyway, something to practice for me. So anyway, I got these because I really like them. I also grabbed, or a part of class came with some Stabilo pencils. So I got one in the first 2 classes that I attend. You get one each. These things are amazing in acrylic. Like, wow. I know I know Dina has said this a million times before on all of her YouTube clips, but really, wow. I mean, you go through them fast. You have to sharpen them all the time, which is why if you're going to buy one, buy 10 at least, or a box or something, because they'll go through them really quickly. But these things are amazing for drawing on acrylic. You don't have to wait for it to dry. You just start scribbling, which is totally cool because then you can just sort of go. So I'm really glad I got those, and when they come back and more in stock at Artified, I'll pick up a heap more. And then non-Dina related products, I just grabbed this one thingy here. It's actually for my Prism. So these are actually, I picked up this and more for my Prismacolors. Like, it was only $9, and it's spiral bound, it's Strathmore, and it's toned tan. There's one lady I'm following on Instagram, and she was practicing with her Prismas, just coloring, and she was using this paper, and because it's very inexpensive for a large pad, and I can stamp a bunch of things, maybe take it with me somewhere, because it's in a pad form. So if we ever go on holidays, or I want to be out and, you know, not at home in front of my art desk, I kind of thought this would be pretty cool to have, like, you know, a craft colored notepad. I don't have one. Didn't even know they made one. And I was there and I'm like, oh my goodness, they have this. So I picked it up. And definitely to play with my Prismacolors. So that is everything from Artified. I'm going to do a little bit better of a flick through of this. So if anyone who's interested, you can keep watching, but everyone else, you know, doesn't really need to. But I thought I would just do this at the end in case anyone wanted to see. Sometimes it's really hard to see what's in a book. So I just thought I would do a little flick through so you can sort of see what sort of things are in the book, because even like Amazon, they only show you like 10 pages or whatever. So it sort of goes through like her tools, or like, you know, materials and tools and what she likes about them and all that sort of thing, and what her favorites are. So that was really good. And like, yes, we learned that in class as well, or some of them, depending on, you know, which class it was. But it was really good for having that in written form. You know, stencils and, you know, what inks work really well and all that sort of thing. And then she's gone on to, you know, sort of, you know, take the plunge and write something on your art. And then, you know, guidance of what to write and where to write it and how to get your mojo in the mood for writing and that sort of thing. And then, like, you know, practice your handwriting pages and things like that, which I intend to photocopy and then make multiples of, because this is going to take a while for me. And then, you know, courage to draw, as in, like, you know, actually try painting a face and things like that, which was so cool. Yeah, I love that class. And then you know, how to draw simple shapes, drawing faces and just the basics of what belongs where on the face and how to get your proportions right, all that sort of stuff. And then she's like taking a self-portrait, you know, how to paint yourself, and yeah, so that's really cool. And then like painting over photographs or, you know, images and that sort of thing to get a feel for things. And then there's this really good page here which I'm really excited about because it basically breaks down all of the media, what they're great for, what to be aware of, the properties of them. So there's 2 pages worth. So it's sort of like a really good reference guide of, you know, modeling paste, what it's good for, what it's really great at, and oh, but be careful because, you know, it's hard to write on and stamp over. So something, you know, just, you know, all the tips and tricks and little thingies. So yeah, and then, you know, how to layer and, you know, isolating and reducing and trying to create focuses. And then using neo colors, so there is heaps and heaps. I've never tried pan pastels, something I would like to try one day, but I have lots of things to try already. So I'm just gonna work on what I've got here first. Mono prints, calligraphy prints, you know, courage not to plan, so just going through and trying to be spontaneous. It's really cool. So I would definitely recommend this book to anyone who, you know, enjoy, like, who, you know, suppose like me, really loves watching and looking at Dina's artwork and journals and think they're amazing and inspiring. And this book is really great starting point so that you can, you know, maybe not, it's not so much about copying, but developing your own style and finding out how to, where to start. It's all about that starting point, because sometimes that's just too scary, and even if you have all the materials, starting is just scary, so you don't do it. So that was one thing in class, was just to, you know, go out and practice, and it's just paper. So if you screw up and you don't like it, oops, oh well. So get some more paper, it's all good. So that was a very good lesson to have learned and to have heard many, many times. So anyway, that is everything there. We did ask her, as in Dina, well, in class, like if she expects to come back to Australia sometime, and she said spring 2018, but she was meaning US spring, so that would be March, April 2018. So if you are in Australia and you want to see one of her classes, and you're near Melbourne or in Victoria or something like that, artified.com, I suppose just probably 6 or 7 months before that, so maybe October, November, September 2017. Keep an eye on their website in case they announce anything, because I would totally recommend going to see any of her classes. Yeah. Okay, that's it.